Walker Williams was born on November 7, 1940 in Newark, New Jersey. His lifetime spanned a period of profound change, both in the United States and in the wider world.
We did not come up wealthy. We didn't have a crystal staircase or a silver spoon. My parents emphasized education, and they told both my sister Elaine and Diane, education is the only thing that's going to get you out of the situation we're in.
He applied his expertise to many fields of endeavor and lent his strength to many causes. His warmth and humanity touched those who worked with him, and he never wavered in the sincerity of his efforts to find a better way, or in his determination to try to see the best in people.
Walker was more like a peacemaker.
There are two words I think of most when I think of Walker. The first is self-effacing, and the second is forbearing.
He was always tying together relationships, making sure that people were working well together. He was selfless.
Walker came of age in the civil rights era. At his first job interview after receiving a degree in public relations and marketing from Boston University, he was turned down. Quote, "Whites wouldn't work for a Negro," unquote, he was told. Undaunted, he got a job as a salesman for Pilsner beer. Soon, he was featured in the media as Mr. Pilsner. Later, he would work for Transworld Airlines.
About 1962, Walker took a job which was kind of unique for an African-American man. He worked for Transworld Airlines. His image and impression of the world changed completely because he realized how large it was. And he also realized he was not a minority. And he also realized other people needed help to bring their story forward.
But his life changed in 1969 when he joined the newly created social nonprofit Common Cause in Washington, D.C. He soon became their top fundraiser, and in the course of that work, he came to understand how those on the outside could have their voices heard.
He took on the effort to mobilize the African ambassadors, but nobody else could. We all tried to work with the African ambassadors. They all seemed like they want to go in different directions. But Walker took it on, organized the ambassadors, and made sure they had a voice when it came to the discussion about U.S.-Africa trade.
Walker was no passive observer. He was an active participant. His instincts for social justice led him to take a leading role in campaigning for equality of pay for performing artists regardless of color. This breakthrough helped develop and shape many household names today, and the world of entertainment is more diverse and vibrant as a result. Walker himself became the executive producer of America's Black Forum, the first nationally syndicated news program owned and produced by African Americans.
America's Black Forum was the first black public affairs program that allowed for a conversation about the issues of the day.
Walker A. Williams was a thinker, and his intellectual strength served across a range of sectors and organizations. UNICEF, the Girl Scouts of the USA, the U.S. Department of Energy, USAID, the Smithsonian Institution, and the Chevron Corporation, to name but a few.
I think the best way I could put it is Walker was a silent leader. He just had the ability to keep people moving forward in a direction that we knew was great for the organization, and we're benefiting from that even today.
He was the guy who was most strategic, the one who we always went to for advice and counsel, and he was a fair player.
But thoughts alone were not Walker's aim. He was a deliverer, a go-to man, someone people went to when they needed something done. And that something varied from training Peace Corps volunteers to verifying voting records in Central America. The arts and education sectors particularly benefited from Walker's ability both to plan and to access funding, as well as his gift for bringing people and organizations together.
As a staff who are working on all things Africa, our core purpose was really to make sure that we pass the reauthorization of the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, or AGOA. Thanks to the work of Walker Williams, our job was made so much easier.
Walker was also an international figure, passionate about the importance of leadership and vocal in the cause of Africa and the Caribbean. At the end of the apartheid era, Walker worked with the ANC and other stakeholders to get sanctions lifted, and he helped raise funds to improve access to education in South Africa and was instrumental in developing the Education Africa Presidential and Premier Education Awards. Nelson Mandela Presidential Medallions, and the Walter Sisulu Scholarship and Training Fund.
He was in travel status throughout Africa, the Caribbean, and any other place where he felt he could be of help.
When I think about Walker's impact, I see it across the board. We deal with all kinds of issues here in Washington dealing with Africa, be it the trade bill, the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, be it the healthcare legislation, efforts to combat HIV/AIDS, be it efforts to address conflicts in Africa or corruption issues. And I felt Walker was able to talk about everything.
The impact of Walker's life on so many people and in so many places is immeasurable. At home, he worked for a better and fairer America. Abroad, he championed the cause of Africa and the Caribbean when Africa and the Caribbean needed a champion. He built the platforms upon which others could stand. He walked with statesmen, but never lost his humility nor his remarkable ability to connect with men and women from so many diverse backgrounds. He was a family man, a generous friend, and a wise mentor. Through us, his work continues.
Thank you, Walker Williams, for all that you've done.
Thank you, Walker. May you rest in peace. Job well done.
We honor his memory.
I'll miss his smile and the way his forehead crinkled and just how he lit up a room.
You'll stay with me for as long as I live, and I appreciate knowing you. Thanks a lot, my friend.
Walker, thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you.
His legacy endures, and his spirit walks with us into the future.
On behalf of the family, I'd like to thank everyone that is here, everyone that's come to celebrate his life, and hope that you continue his mission. Thank you. Thank you, Walker.